So the corn used in Yield of Dreams is Iowa-grown corn. That's a very important part of the process. And here, to explain his hand in it, Kurt, you are a farmer?
I'm a farmer.
You are the president of the District 9 Corn Growers Association?
Correct.
I'm going to ask a real dumb question. How many districts are there and how big is your district?
There are 9 districts.
Okay.
Well, I'm District 7, I'm sorry. There are 9 districts, I'm District 7.
You're 7, then
Yes.
there are 9.
Yeah, but there are 9.
And that's just...
Same as the soil and water conservation districts across the state.
Those would overlap then?
Yeah.
So how big is your territory there?
My territory, I believe is, it'd be about 10 counties.
Okay. So you're from southwest Iowa.
Yes.
What would be like the biggest town where your farm is?
Atlantic would be the area I'm from, Cass County, Atlantic,
Okay.
Iowa. Atlantic's kind of central to that district.
So the corn that is grown in your district was chosen, and I imagine other districts as well, or is it exclusively District 7, the corn that's being used for the beer this year?
No, there are 18 growers,
Okay.
farmers across the state, so 2 growers per district. And they was just randomly chosen by the district reps. And so we each put in about 2 bushels of corn.
I'm gonna share this with you, Kurt. I grew up in the suburbs. I don't know a lot about farming. So if I ask any dumb questions, please don't roll your eyes.
That's okay, I don't mind.
The corn that you use the corn that's being used for this beer, it's not sweet corn, it's not feed corn, or what is it?
There's nothing special about it.
Nothing special.
Just regular field corn that you're seeing all in fields all the way across the state.
Okay.
It's just, we just took it out of the regular grain bin. I do know which field it come out of and everything.
Okay.
But it's just.
Will you be able to
corn
taste the
out of
beer
there.
and go like, oh yeah, I know where this is from?
No, I got to be honest, I've never tasted my corn before, but I'm looking forward to a little bit of beer.
No kidding. Well, I guess your corn you wouldn't taste, would you?
know.
It's not designed for you to eat, is it?
Most all of my corn goes into the ethanol plant.
Okay.
And which of course would be ethanol and then the dried distiller grains for feed.
So how were these growers selected?
Most of us, I believe, are active corn grower members that participate with the Iowa corn growers in doing events, promoting corn products, promoting corn research, spreading the story of corn growers and where our corn comes from and what we do across the state.
They say that everything tastes better when you're able to eliminate the distance it traveled to get to your plate, or certainly to your glass. I mean, beer always tastes better at a brewery, and it's got to be important for you to know that beer that is brewed in Iowa is made with Iowa corn.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. The brewmaster, you all have heard of food to table,
Sure.
Field to table. Well, this is grain to glass.
Grain to glass.
Grain to
That's
glass.
perfect. And you're saying, like, how long have you been, Kurt, in the farming business? How long have you been doing this?
I graduated Iowa State in 1986 and have been farming ever since.
Okay, so it's been a while.
Yeah, 40 years.
And you're saying all this time, the corn you've grown, I mean, you've been feeding it to gas tanks and that's about it. You have not ever tasted your corn.
I've never tasted it.
Ever.
A lot of it went to feed before ethanol got to be so
Sure,
much.
that makes sense. So have you given any thought to what you're going to do with your first can of it or your first glass of it?
Well, drink it.
No, but I mean, have you thought about making a ceremonial, or are you just going to crack that thing open?
I haven't thought about that, but my wife says we're going to take it out on the boat and we're going to have some friends.
This is what I want to hear. This is what I want to hear. There should be something.
Soak in the sun.
So it's designed to be an easy drinking beer that you could have on the boat.
Yes, it is.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all of the work that you and all the growers do all year round, to see it be celebrated in this way.
Yeah, and
what does that mean?
Well, I'm hoping to be able we can use our beer, if I have to sit aside and drink a cold beer and have a conversation with somebody about my farm and where it come from and promote agriculture. My daughter works for the corn growers, and the way she ended up there is when she grew up on the farm, she was okay with the farm, not necessarily big on, but she got to college and she met up with some girls from Minneapolis area or Des Moines area, and they had a lot of questions, and she brought them out to the farm. And it's important for us to be able to tell our story, tell how we are sustainable, and tell why we raise this. And I'll have a beer with somebody and talk about it anytime.
I mean, the hard work that you do every day, it's just your everyday life, but for someone like me from a million miles away, it's fascinating.
Yeah,
it is fascinating what you all do.
That's what Megan discovered with her friends, that They just didn't know. They'd never been exposed to the farm. They didn't know, but they was very curious. They very much wanted to know. And Megan discovered how important it was for her to be able to tell, and that's why she ended up where she did.
So the corn that is grown, this is corn from last year that is now being used this year,
this would be my
obviously?
2025 crop, yes.
2025 crop. So, I mean, I guess you haven't tasted it before. Is it like grapes where you can say like this was a good year or that was a bad year?
Oh, I'm sure it was a good year.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's what we want to hear. It's the yield of dreams, and when you drink it, know that Kurt and a bunch of farmers just like him are the ones who made the corn that's in the beer. Keep up the good work, young man. Thanks so much for all your hard work.
You bet.
Right on.
Holding that beer in your hand is such an encapsulation of everything that's important to us in craft brewing. The farmers, the brewers, the community members, and then being part of an experience when you lift that glass and toast to someone.